Welcome to my show, The Football Catalog by Origa. Now, this is the gist section. What is happening? The whole internet, social media is scattered. Jaga jaga. Nigeria jaga jaga. Everything scatter scatter. Poor man the suffer. Busa busa. Gunshot. What is happening? Who is taking the center stage? Mikel Obi. The whole hammer from Mikel Obi dropped down. On who? Sunday Oliseh. What is happening between them? The master and the apprentice. I'm coming back. Now let's quickly look at what happened. The Gambia national team, the Scorpion, they escaped being suffocated chartered to take them to Ivory Coast. Wow. The coach said, Tom Stinsfield said, he is ready to die, but not on the blame. Watch out for the video. Quickly, we will see what is happening about the African Cup of Nations taking place in Côte d'Ivoire. The day is the day we all have been waiting for. And today, we are going to have the opening ceremony at International Stadium. They are in Abidjan. Let's go and see what is going to happen. Don't forget, one of Nigerian major artists, Omounmi Alade, is going to be at the center stage of the opening ceremony. We're starting with the Gambia national team. What do you think happened? The Gambia national team, they have traveled to Saudi Arabia for a training, and they've returned with a total number of 32 hours in the transit. They had a delay in Istanbul and also in Casablanca, making 32 hours. And when they arrived in Banjul, they were told they were to fly to Côte d'Ivoire immediately in a 56 propeller charter aircraft. And they were told, when they were all settled, they were told the AC was not working. So what are they going to do? The pilot told them, look, when we get to the air, the AC will work. Oh my God. What kind of a scenario do you think this Gambia, this champion, are finding themselves? Now, when they got to the air, over 9 minutes, everybody begin to feel uneasy, discipline with it, and they begin to fall asleep. What is happening? The AC is not working, and the pilot discovered there was a pressure on the cabin. And after discovering this, there is no oxygen. Oh my God. 9 minutes up to 10 minutes in the air, and you weren't able to breathe well. Oh, thank God for the pilot who thought in his mind the best thing he can do is not to fly to Côte d'Ivoire, but to return to Banjul. And they were forcefully landed in Banjul. So they stay. Now, tell me the trauma. You just travel over 32 hours and you're going to the destination. And in the air for 9 minutes, going to 10 minutes, you couldn't breathe. Everybody were feeling uneasy. Oh, according to the story by the captain, Sandy Janku, he said, look, they were, I can't just imagine what they were. According to the coach said, look, I am ready to die for the Gambia, but not in the air. So what actually happened? According to the investigation, they said there's a pressure on the cabin. What kind of a pressure? You know one thing, this, although it can happen here anywhere, it can fall. But when you don't prepare very well, these are the kind of things that people encounter. But I hope we don't fall into this kind of a section. We are just like, I can't imagine the trauma that will be running inside somebody's head. So at the end of the day, they were forced to land back and they get in touch with the government of the Gambia. And the president quickly, take a good action, call upon the government of the Ivorians. Just to make sure that, look, we have difficulties here. We couldn't find any plane that would take us, to your city, to your country. So what are you going to do? And the Ivorians, because they don't want, any itch around the African Cup of Nations that is going to take place, starting from today, Saturday, the 13th of January. So they quickly, make, a quick, decision, get a, Ivorian airline and go back to, Banjul and take the the Banjo, the Gambia national player, the Scorpion, and they brought them to Ivory Coast. I don't know. People will be wondering, would they go ahead and play the game on Thursday? I believe they'll be having the first match on Thursday. Would they go ahead and play the game? Yeah, they believe they can do that. So thank God that they survived. But they have two people who are unconscious at the moment. As for now, I don't know. Maybe they've all recovered. But however, the national team of Gambia, they've landed in Cote d'Ivoire, and they will definitely, be having the feel of the day when they are playing their first game in the African Cup of Nations in Abidjan. Now let's go straight to the main thing of the gist. Mikel Obi is hammer for on who? Sunday Oliseh, the apprentice and the master. What happened? Who is the apprentice and who is the master? I don't know. You can determine by yourself. Don't forget, like and subscribe to my channel. Now, I am not bringing support to anybody. You know, one thing about this life is this. For the journalist, for the news reader, this is just the news. It's left to them to eat themselves, but the world wants to report, just like you read the news about any other person. So whatever happens to you that comes up in the news, the world wants to report. Now let's start from somewhere. What actually the problem between Mikel Obi and Oliseh? Do you think Mikel Obi has been bottling this in his mind for so long, and he finally got the opportunity, the time, to eat on anybody that comes his way? Now, one thing about football is this. When you are playing, there are some certain players, you can't see them voice out their opinion while they are playing, because they can or they could be sanctioned. And most players don't want to have issue with such a thing. But now that Mikel Obi is no more playing football in terms of big football, and he's no more in the Super Eagles, he's no more an apprentice to his coach, which happens to be Sunday Oliseh. Well, look at it. Every player, particularly those one that has a voice, when they are playing football, they have the voice. But by the time they turn to be a coach, they don't want anybody to look into their eyes. But look at it. Is it a situation of karma? What you've done, you saw. Or how do you, I still don't understand. Because for some people, let's look at it. What is the history between Mikel Obi and Oliseh? Did they play together? Or is it about the fact that I am more superior, or I am more honor, or I am more decorated? Because I can't just fathom the issue between Obi and Mikel, Sunday Oliseh and Mikel Obi. I can't just fathom. Do you think Mikel Obi has gone too far? I'm asking you. You can put on the comment section. What's your opinion? I want to hear your opinion. What do you think? Do you think Mikel Obi has gone too far? For me, he laid a big hammer, oh my God, on Sunday Oliseh. But in your own opinion, do you think Mikel Obi has gone too far? He said a lot of things about Sunday Oliseh. I'm still coming to that, but let's look at the issue. When Oliseh was playing, he has a voice. He had always been the type, that speak. He understood his right, and he wants to claim his right. But also, let's look at something. Why is it that in Africa, or let's say in Nigeria, if you demand for your rights, you're in trouble? Because I can't imagine what happened. Because Oliseh also faced this situation when he was playing. You remember Korea-Japan? Before Korea-Japan, Nigeria has gone to Mali 2002, where we didn't play very well, and there were a lot of, negative comment from the player of the national team. We came third, and after then, I think the coaches, Laloko and all sort of people, they were just like bamboos, take them away, and then what's it called? Then Onibide was called to take charge of the national team, and there were issues between Oliseh Finidi, who happens to be the captain of, the assistant captain to Oliseh, and they were issued, and they were finally dropped. I mean, some people say the minister dropped them. Some people say Onibide dropped them. Some people say it was because, Oliseh was demanding too much for his right. Because according to Oliseh, he said, look, he had spent too much money. He spent his own personal money to run some errand to make sure that Nigeria did very well to qualify for the World Cup. And they paid him with what he felt, it was a slap in his face. That he wanted to take it up, but his mom told him, no, don't do that. Just forget about it. And later on, he came up and, he began to name blah, 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 everywhere that, okay, Onibide didn't do well, the fuck up and at the World Cup, but he went to win with the Borussia Dortmund here and there, something like that. No, he has his criticism about the national team. But let me ask you something. Is it wrong to state your opinion? Although, sometimes things turn around, the table turn around, and is it the reason where we see, or there is an issue between Oliseh and Mikel Obi? If you think there is an issue or you have an opinion, you can tell us. You said a lot of things about Oliseh. He's jealous. Now tell me, jealous of who? I don't get it. He said he was jealous. He was arrogant. He was. He has nothing to offer as a coach. In terms of playing, he's a good player. But when it comes to coaching, he's not there. What do you understand? How do you feel? To me, I believe. Well, summer. It's just for news for people like us. It happens to them. It can happen to us. It can happen to anybody. But the moment it happens to you, and the news is in the social media, the world will talk about it. And that is exactly what is happening between Oliseh and Mikel Obi. But for me, I'm not taking any stand. But I believe, it's just the way life is all about. But for you, do you think Mikel has gone too far on Sunday Oliseh? The armor, the war, what is spoken about him, for me, is a level of, I don't know, it's left to you to say. But what actually happened? What is the history between Oliseh and, Mikel Obi? In 2015, after 2013, we won the African Cup of Nations Cup. Keshi, moved away from the national team. And what happened? You remember that time? Yeah, that reminds me. African Guardiola, that is a name that was, Amadou Pinnick called Sunday Oliseh. He said Oliseh is the African Guardiola. You remember? And they brought him into the national team in 2015. And I think his first assignment was to be against Tanzania. Then he played against Niger. And there was issue between him and according to him, he has the likes of Vincent Enyama, Mikel Obi, and Victor Moses. These three key players are the major players that for him, he thought he needs them, and he needs them, and he also needs to just have a way to just control this player, because for him, they are like the biggest player in the national team. So according to Oliseh, he said he made an arrangement. Yeah, he made an arrangement to meet the three of them and make a call. Mikel didn't pick the call. He went to UK. He saw Victor Moses. After a lot of delay here and there, he finally met Moses and they had some chat, successful to him. But there was an issue between him and Enyama, because during the time, Vincent Enyama lost his mom. And there were issues about when you need to come to the camp and when you need to leave the camp, that as a captain of the team, Oliseh believed he needs Enyama in the camp. But there were a lot of many issues that went underneath. Maybe he wants to control like a lot of things. He said the discipline that Oliseh didn't have while he was playing, he want to install on the player. No. This kind of a funny things. It's not really funny, but for them it might not be funny, but for us, it sounds funny, and we can't deny ourselves the fact that we want to laugh. So much it on him. There were a lot of issues, and Mikel is standing to say, look, Oliseh shouldn't have removed Enyama and some other people the way he did. And Oliseh say a lot of things about. Mikel Obi. He said a lot of things about Oliseh. He removed the car. He removed Yama. As a captain of the team, and he deliberately put Ahmed Musa, which some people believe it was a gang up against from a particular section of the stakeholder in football. And Mikel believe, look, even though there were insinuations that Yama also stands to be a very strong player who criticized the system, just like the way Oliseh did in his days as a Super Eagles player. The same thing Enyama was doing. Enyama was asking for his right. I can't imagine if they were owing me and I can't say, look, I waste my money. There's an agreement between the NFF and the player. And so when you make an arrangement, that, okay, we will pay you this certain amount of money when you finish this match, and they were not paid, what do you expect the player to do? So they voice out. And it seems that Enyama is becoming very strong. And you remember, there were issues when we went to Brazil, when there were issues about, player trying to boycott, some certain match, even during the days of, Stephen Keshi and a lot of, news around, the boycott, the suspend, all this kind of thing. And it was thought that, look, it was the ringleader among the player was Vincent Enyama. So he was the captain of the team as at that time, and he was ready to lead as a leader. So I think some member of the NFA didn't like such a thing. And when they brought Oliseh, just like, we have brought you, you are also going to do some myself. That's my own calculation. I can't say, you can check around and see what people are saying. But for my own calculation, there's sometimes there can never be, smoke without fire. Because how could you just be brought to the national team, and the first thing you want to do is just like eliminate some certain player who had a voice against the national, the football, administration of the country there. So for me, I think the way Oliseh removed Enyama as a captain, Mikel thought it wasn't right. Even if he had made mistake, there must be a way to, he's a senior player. There must be a way you need to call these guys to the table and explain things. But the issue also has to do with the fact that Enyama lost his mom within that time. So he had the excuse of leaving the camp, of not living in the camp. And Oliseh also thought, look, while Enyama was absent from the national team, he was featuring for his team. So a lot of other things that went there, and Oliseh didn't do well. You remember one of the things that Mikel said was just like, they used juju. He said, Oliseh said that it was juju, it was Mikel and maybe some other people there's a sabotage his work by using juju. So Oliseh also believe in juju. I've seen a lot of comment about other players, other senior players. They've hammered much on Oliseh. Like Zegu, he spoke about Oliseh. You're gonna see the comment. I'm gonna put it on the screen when I'm broadcasting this. Well, okay, let's forget. One thing you can do for me, just like, look, just go. They like my page and also subscribe. To my page. That's only my channel. That's the only thing I'm requesting from you. So let's keep going on about this issue about Mikel Obi, Oliseh, all sort of a thing. What do you expect from the two? And he also said, another thing he said was like, Mikel Obi and Enyama, we are trying to destroy his work. That means they were looking forward to make sure that he failed. How could the player, though it may happen, I can't stand for them. I can't trust any player. I'm not saying I don't trust Mikel Obi and Enyama in this situation. They have their right to defend or to accept what Oliseh has said. But I think Oliseh had come out to eat more on Mikel about the issue about captaincy. Maybe Mikel thought he should be the captain of the national team. And as the time Oliseh came, he thought he wouldn't want to give it to Mikel Obi, and he gave it to Ahmed Musa. For Mikel, he thought that it has been pre-planned. It has been a deliberate way of just like, sideline this kind of player and put Ahmed Musa to make Ahmed Musa to be the captain of the national team. Well, that's their opinion, and once they are bold enough to come out and say this thing to the air, I think they are justified. By saying it. Now we are waiting for Oliseh to just like counter the allegation that Mikel Oliseh to come out and counter the allegation of Mikel Obi our team. But however, I believe the whole world is just like they are enjoying this game. Or Mikel Obi find his voice through the podcast, and I believe, he's able to express himself. I mean, he's just enjoying himself. He's not playing football anymore, and he's not willing to maybe probably willing to go back to the national team as at this moment. However, let's start from at this point, and let's see what is going to happen another time. Let's see before. Oliseh reacted to Mikel's opinion. We're going to be expecting a lot of other fireworks from these two guys. I know Mikel Obi seems to be very vocal these days. He's ready to give it to anybody. So I hope you guys enjoy what this section about the gist football catalog by Uriga. So join me another time. My name remains Bami Belu Ademola, award-winning photojournalist. One thing you need to do, like I said, like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.